So, what do we think to these films like A Serbian Film? Do they deserve to be shown to people?
With consent?
Because A Serbian Film, like, obviously there's stuff like Martyrs and Hostel, which take things to, a new level in terms of torture, but A Serbian Film has, like, children, like, getting raped and stuff like that, just to put it. Well, that's not exactly PG rating, is it? A PG rating way of putting it, but
Oh, what?
yeah.
I think
But-
it's I think it's all to do with like artistic intent, isn't it? It's like I think that's how they sort of masquerade it. They say, "Oh, it's art." Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
But they end up lumping it in with. So the people behind a Serbian film will try and say it's in the same vein as like I don't know some avant-garde movie from the 60s, like a Louis Buñuel film, when really it's just an excuse to show um graphic imagery. Do you know what I mean?
yeah, yeah. Well, I read an article about it because it turned. I think it was 11 years old or 12 years old. I can't remember when it came out, but apparently the director intended it to be about Serbian politics, which I find
Yeah,
I
yeah,
find completely like bizarre
yeah.
considering what what happens in the film. It must obviously that political theme must have got lost somewhere. I always thought it was more about exploiting the porn industry, to be honest. If it was anything about that,
I mean, if it is about Swedish politics, then they must have some really exciting news items over there. Do you know what I mean?
well, Serbian politics.
Serbian, sorry to Sweden. Apologies to our Swedish viewers.
We just got Brexit going on here, which
Yeah.
is at this point it's just redundant.
I
Yeah,
can't believe I said Sweden, one of the nicest countries in the world, being associated with such muck.
Well, let's go with a dragon tattoo.
Oh yeah,
oh yeah,
yeah, yeah.
that film has a similar kind of scene, doesn't it? Or a break.
But that's I don't know because it kind of becomes in talking about censorship, it ends up becoming a debate about art versus um exploitation. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's like when you say Girl Dragon Tattoo, we think, oh, great film. When we think of Serbian film, we think,
yeah,
Yeah.
um,
It's sort of justified by its context. Like within the whole thing, there, whichever version you watch, the Swedish or the American version, it's just limited to two scenes. It's not like Lars
like a
von Trier
Serbian film.
film or a Serbian film where the sexuality or the violence of it isn't like the whole film, but there are two distinct moments which arguably make them pop a bit more. Where one is more of an exploitation of someone who is at a vulnerable point in society, and the other one is sort of the cathartic revenge of it, where
yeah,
someone who has
Yeah,
previously been like the victim is therefore shoving something up
yeah,
his her abuser's anus, which has its own connotations. In fact, I wrote a big paragraph about it in a dissertation pitch, and a lecturer commented
mm,
saying that, "Oh yeah, this is a really good paragraph." This, so that, yeah, thanks.
yeah.
all right, Jeff. Ego in check.
uh,
But yeah, well, I do think a Serbian film does have a place. It's not obviously in poor taste, I guess. If well, I suppose that's a subjective. That's my opinion. It is kind of in poor taste, but I don't, I don't think it should necessarily be censored. But I don't think it should be like exploited around the world, if you get what I mean. It shouldn't be like
exhibited.
Yeah.
Mm.
Like, I don't know. I think a lot of people just watch film to see how far the film goes, and that's what it seems to be about with these new exploitation films. They just want to like push the boundaries, see how far they can go with stuff.
What's that? Is it called the Streisand effect? Where no, it's where they like say you had a film that was reasonably violent, whatever that means, but there was like a massive uproar about it. People would go and see it because of the outrage.
Yeah.
So it ends up doing what they didn't intend it, what the like censors and that didn't intend it to do.
Well, that's what
Yeah, but-
happened with. Oh, sorry, Denholm, go on.
No. I was just saying the controversy creates more attention. That's all. Really.
Yeah.
Mm.